So, hello students, welcome you all on Wikipedia. So, my dear students, today we are going to discuss an important topic which are in the syllabus of ITI Principal in Haryana. See, my dear students, they mention some basic terminology related to computer, that is like what are the generations. You have to talk about the different components we are going to use in computer system, then different type of networking, that is like LAN, MAN, WAN and all this stuff. So we are trying to cover each and every aspect of that syllabus, and today we pick one problem, that is generation of computer system. See, my dear students, in this video I am going to talk about the complete generation, that we can say we have mainly 5 generation of computer. In each and every generation we are trying to enhance the power of our computing machine. So my dear students, you may face some objective or MCQ type questions from this document, as well as you need to know how to write the problem in a subjective manner. As you know, if a problem came like please define all the generation of computers, then we can expect having a good marks problem, because we have mainly 5 generations, depend upon the era and depend upon the technology we use in our computer. So my dear students, you can see here the generation of computers and their component. So you can see here, first of all you need to give some idea or some information related to computer, that is computer have come a long way since their inception in the mid 20th century. Over the year they have evolved through several generations. Yes, we have mainly 5 generations, each marked by significant advancement in the technology. Advancement in the sense of the electricity consumption, in the sense of cost, in the sense of computing power or the processor power. So we are trying to discuss in this document different generation of computer and types of component used in each generations. Moving ahead, the first generation is from the era of 1940s to 1950s. Fine. In this era, this is called the first generation of computer, as also known as, the important point here is it is also known as vacuum tube generation. It means the component we are used in our first generation of computer is vacuum tube. And what is the specificity of vacuum tube is, was characterized by the use of vacuum tube as the primary electronic component. We know that what is computer? It is an electronic device. So what type of electronic component we are used in our first generation era? That is vacuum tube. Now what is the characteristics of a vacuum tube component? These are large fragile tubes were used to perform. What is computer? Computer is a computing device which is trying to compute something, calculate something. That's why these large fragile tubes were used to perform calculations, and they are going to store some data. They were bulky in nature, expensive in nature, because they are bulky. Vacuum tubes are so expensive, and consumed a lot of power, making them impractical for every day. You can see there, if you just open the vacuum tube computers, so they are having bulk in size, their costs are so expensive. You can see here, you have to make this diagram also. Vacuum tube we are going to use in first generation, they are bulky in design, their components are fragile. Practically it is not possible, limited everyday users, it is not going to use each and every computations, insufficient performance, high power consumption, expensive material and high cost. So these are some important points related to first generation. So my dear students, always keep in mind, whenever you are going for the subjective paper, keep in mind no need to mention the whole theory part. You have to write the precise content of that part. Fine. So that is all about the first generation. Now moving ahead with the second generation, The second generation arise from the 50s, 1950s to 1960s. Fine. Now, in this era, the second generation of computer, so the introduction of transistor. That means we replace the vacuum tube via transistors. They are small in size, which replace the vacuum tube as the main electronic component. What are transitions? They were smaller in size, more reliable, and consume less power than vacuum tube. That are the advancement or enhancement over vacuum tube generation computers. This led to the development of smaller and more affordable, means they are going to reduce the size and they are affordable in the mean of size as well in cost effective, making them more accessible to the general public use. So you can see here, this is the transition, revolutionized computing. Transition replaced the vacuum tube, computer become more affordable, computer become smaller and reliable, and computer become accessible to the general public. That means the main important point is we just replace the vacuum tube via transistors. Next, the third generation. In third generation of computers, so the use of now we are moving ahead and use integrated circuit ICs over transition as the main electronic component. ICs were made up of multiple transistors, means we are going to use an IC and where we are putting many transistors. That means we are improving the performance of our computing device, and capacitors all attached on a single silicon chip. That is very important. So this line is very important. ICs were made up of multiple transistors, resistors, and capacitor all attached on a single silicon chip. That what is very important. This made computer even smaller, faster in performance, doing more calculations, and powerful as before. So you can see here, development of ICs, faster computer, they are small in nature, small in size, and they are more powerful. Next, my dear student, the point is the fourth generation. So in first generation we use vacuum tube, in second generation we use transistors, in third generation we use ICs, which is made up of many transistors, capacitors. Fine. Next is the fourth generation from the era of 1970s to 80s. Here we are going to use the microprocessor which combine the function of a CPU, central processing unit, which is I can say the heart of computing machine, the heart of computer, and memory onto a single chip. This made computers even more compact, means size are small, and efficient, means they are going to perform more calculations, paving the way for the development of PCs. So I can say, when we can say we are going to use the PCs, yes, in the fourth generation computers we are thinking about the PCs. So third generation, over the third generation we are using microprocessor, which is of integration of CPU and their memory. That's why they are compact and efficient, and this is the development of personal computers. So always keep in mind, my dear students, you need to write the precise content, always keep in mind that point. And the last generation is the fifth generation. So here in the fifth generation we are going to use multiple microprocessors, multiple processors. Fine, marked by the use of microprocessor with multiple core. Initially it was single core, now multiple cores, allowing for an even faster and more efficient processing unit. This generation also saw the development of AI, as you heard about a lot about in the today's era, artificial intelligence, AR, VR, quantum computing. So these are, we are just started all this genre in the era of 1980s to the present scenarios. Fine. So this generation also saw the development of AI, use of advanced technology such as augmented reality and virtual reality, and cloud computing. You know, cloud computing. So this is the advancement in the fifth generation, that is introduction to multi-core processors, multiple instructions we can execute simultaneously, development of AI, development of AR/VR technology, development of cloud computing. So these are the 5 major generation. In first generation we use vacuum tube, in second generation we use transistors, in third generation we use multiple transition, that is ICs, in fourth generation we use microprocessor, and in fifth generation we use microprocessor which is of multiple core. So finally you have to write the conclusion part, types of component used in each generation. First generation vacuum tube, second generation transistor, third generation integrated circuit, fourth generation microprocessor, and fifth generation multi-core microprocessors. So in this way, my dear students, in the subjective exam you have to mention what are the different generations, what type of major components we used in those generations, and finally you have to conclude your answer by writing the conclusion, and also keep in mind you have to write the diagram also. No need to write the theoretical part, you have to write the precise theory only. Instead of filling or covering more and more pages, don't try this and try to write the precise content. So that is all about the first question, that is explain different generation of computers. In the next video we are trying to cover some more topics related to computer components, related to LAN, MAN, WAN, or related to some computer network technologies. Thank you.